Imagine an island born from the gods, a land where warriors valued honor more than life, a nation that shut itself away from the world for centuries, only to rise again as one of the most advanced societies on Earth. This is Japan. But behind the cherry blossoms and neon cities lies a history of struggle, resilience, and transformation. And for the next 20 minutes, we're going to journey across time to discover how Japan became the land we know today. Origins and myth. Japan's story begins not with history, but with legend. According to the Kojiki, Japan's oldest chronicle, the gods Izanagi and Izanami stood on the floating bridge of heaven. When Izanagi dipped his spear into the sea, drops fell and formed the islands of Japan. From their children came Amaterasu, the sun goddess. She's said to be the ancestor of Japan's first emperor, Jimmu, who ruled over 2,600 years ago. This claim, that Japan's emperors descended from the gods, was more than a myth. It gave Japan a sacred identity. To rule Japan was to rule a land touched by heaven itself. Early Japan, Nara and Heian periods. But myths soon gave way to history. By the 8th century, Japan built its first capital in Nara. Here, Buddhism arrived from China and mixed with Shinto, shaping Japan's unique spiritual identity. Massive temples like Todaiji, with its great Buddha, symbolized this new era. Then came the Heian period, the golden age of classical Japan. The imperial court in Kyoto was a world of poetry, art, and refinement. It was here that Lady Murasaki wrote The Tale of Genji, the world's first novel. But beneath this elegance, cracks were forming. Aristocrats obsessed over beauty and ceremony, while outside the capital, powerful clans grew restless. Rise of the samurai and shoguns. By the 12th century, warlords and their samurai armies began to dominate. After years of struggle, the Minamoto clan seized power, and in 1292, the first shogunate was born. The emperor still sat on the throne, but real power now belonged to the shogun, Japan's military ruler. And beneath him stood the samurai. The samurai weren't just warriors. They lived by Bushido, the way of the warrior. Loyalty, honor, and discipline defined their lives. To fall in battle was glorious, but to live dishonored meant disgrace. Some even chose seppuku, ritual suicide, rather than face shame. For centuries, Japan was torn by battles between rival clans. The Mongols even tried to invade, twice. In 1274 and 1281, massive fleets crossed the sea. But both times, fierce samurai defense and powerful typhoons, later called kamikaze or divine winds, saved Japan. By the 1500s, chaos returned in the Sengoku, the Warring States period. Dozens of lords fought for control. Out of this storm rose Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu, three unifiers who finally brought Japan under one rule. Edo period, peace and isolation. In 1603, Tokugawa Ieyasu became shogun, and for the next 250 years, Japan entered the Edo period. For the first time in centuries, there was peace. But peace came with a price. Japan shut its doors. Foreigners were banned. Christianity was outlawed. No Japanese could leave the country. For over 200 years, Japan lived in isolation. Yet in this quiet, culture thrived. Kabuki theater dazzled audiences. Ukiyo-e woodblock prints captured everyday life. Images of samurai, geisha, and landscapes that would one day inspire artists like Van Gogh. Cities like Edo, modern Tokyo, grew into bustling centers. But while Japan preserved tradition, the outside world was changing fast, opening to the West and modernization. In 1853, black ships appeared on Japan's shores. American warships, led by Commodore Matthew Perry, demanded Japan open its ports. The shogunate had no choice but to agree. This moment shattered centuries of isolation. Within years, the old order collapsed. In 1868, the Meiji Restoration restored power to the emperor. But Japan didn't cling to the past, it embraced the future. Factories rose, railroads stretched across the land, the samurai class was abolished. Within a generation, Japan transformed from a feudal society into a modern industrial nation. And soon, it became strong enough to defeat giants like Russia and China in war. Empire and World War II. By the early 20th century, Japan had become an empire. It expanded across Korea, China, and the Pacific, but ambition led to catastrophe. In World War II, Japan launched attacks across Asia, and in 1941, on Pearl Harbor. For years, fierce battles raged, but by 1945, defeat was certain. Then came Hiroshima, then Nagasaki. 2 atomic bombs ended the war and left scars that would never fade. Japan lay in ruins, cities burned, millions lost everything, but out of this tragedy came rebirth. Post-war miracle. Under American occupation, Japan rebuilt. The old empire was gone, replaced by a democracy. But Japan didn't just recover, it rose. By the 1960s and 70s, Japan stunned the world with its economic miracle. Bullet trains sped across the land. Sony, Toyota, Nintendo. These names became global symbols of innovation. From a defeated nation, Japan became one of the strongest economies on Earth. Modern Japan. Today, Japan is a place where past and future live side by side. Ancient temples stand beneath neon lights. Samurai legends live on in films and anime. Robots work alongside people. It's a nation that has reinvented itself again and again, yet never lost its soul. Outro: call to action. And that is Japan's epic history. From gods and emperors to samurai and shoguns, from isolation to empire, from tragedy to rebirth. So tell me, if you could step into any era of Japan's past, where would you go? The age of the samurai, the peace of the Edo period, or the high-tech Japan of today? Drop your answer in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so more people can discover the incredible history of Japan.